Hello, and welcome to the Healing Path. I'm Laura Donnelly, founder of Dancing with Ease, Body-Brain Balance. And this is a series of conversations featuring friends and colleagues I have who are working in all different areas of the healing field. What I discovered when I started this is that these people that I know and love, we have a similar focus, which is that healing starts with self-healing. And then it expands out from ourselves into the world and to the people that we love and care about. So today, my guest will be Cecilia Runciman. And she is a friend from online, and we have connected quite joyfully, and we'll have a fun conversation, I know, around gratitude and happiness. And I'll bring Cecilia on now, and she can tell you a little bit about her life and her history, and we'll just chat about gratitude. Hi, Cecilia.
Hello, Laura. Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm thrilled to be here.
I'm so happy you can be here.
Shall I just begin?
Yes. Share what you want to share, how you got involved in gratitude, or basically anything.
Yes, all right. Well, I live in Germany, and I've lived here in northern Germany, and I've lived here for around 40 years. And that gives an indication already of my age. I'm going to be 75 in a month's time.
Wow.
And I'm very happy here. And when we first came to Germany, it wasn't planned that we would stay very long. But life often works out in surprising ways. And after about 20 years, I got up one day and realized I'm happy here and I don't want to go back anymore. Until then, I had always thought we would retire one day and go back to England. But my mother came to live with us, and so we decided we were staying forever. And I'm very glad we're still here. There's an awful lot to say, really, but the subject of today is gratitude. So I'd like to stay on that subject. And first of all, tell you about how I became absolutely involved with it. And it was a big surprise to me. I think all of us know what it means to feel thankful. And I was thankful all my life for many things. But I hadn't actually reached the deep feeling of gratitude. And that happened to me in a very wonderful way. I was having a celebration because in my business, I'd had a lot of success. And this is all actually a long time ago, about 18 years ago now. And a lot of guests there were part of my team, and or they were people who had helped all of us. And we were having a wonderful time. And then at the end of the evening, I was taken to the middle of our lawn, and our garden was surrounded by very tall trees. And I suddenly realized everybody was in a semicircle behind me. And then the most amazing firework display started for me. And it was just incredible, all of these stars going up in the sky and falling down onto me almost. And in my life, I'd always talked about finding gold dust. And in my business, I'd always likened it to finding gold dust. And so for me, these stars falling down from the sky were just magical. So when everyone had gone home, I think it was probably the next day, and my younger son was helping me to clear everything up. He said, wasn't that the most wonderful firework display? And I said, yes. And he said, you know, they didn't know what to buy you. They said, how do we buy something for the woman who's got everything? And it made me roar laughing, because who's got everything? You know, so many things that you could have. And he said to me, but mummy, you have got everything. You've got us, you've got this house, you've got this garden, you've got your business, you've got your life. And I was just so overcome with a tsunami of gratitude that I've never really got over it. I remember that event so very clearly. So that started me on my path to gratitude. And in fact, once again, it changed my life, because it changed my entire attitude.
That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. Do you do things? I mean, I know you post in your group every day thoughts about gratitude, things to inspire people to think about gratitude in their own life. Do you, what is your gratitude practice?
My gratitude practice is without fail as I'm going to sleep. I thank for the people in my life. I thank for the events that have happened. I thank for all the opportunities I've had. And I also write down, not regularly. I want to do it absolutely regularly because it means so much. But I do write down not just lists of what I'm thankful for. I write about what's happened and what I'm grateful for in those events. And I've actually had another wonderful experience. Some of you in this group will be aware of Sarah Arrow, and in a conversation with her, we were talking about gratitude, and she gave me the idea of writing a gratitude journal. And I went ahead and did that, and that's been just so wonderful, because I've been concerned then with finding quotations, my favorite quotations, and then having writing an impulse to do something, to write something, or to have a plan of action about something. And that's made it all the more actual to me. And it's been 2 years in the making almost. And so you can imagine, I've forgotten some of the things that I did at first. And so it's new to me as well. And all these quotes are just so wonderful. They're all from other people, names that we all know. And they're so very special. And so that's how my gratitude practice is living at the moment. But I also want to say that gratitude leads to all kinds of other emotions. And we've got a whole scale of emotions in our life, from poor ones, jealousy, envy, disgust, all of these things at the really low end, where I'm sorry to say a lot of people do live, and going up then to the top ones, of which gratitude is one, and love and compassion. And they're all good feelings that we want to encourage. And when we're living in those feelings, we've got another kind of vibration and energy in our whole system. So we then attract other people on the same energy. I'm sure that it's a well-known analogy, but it's like having a radio and tuning in on an old style radio to a particular station. and you would tune in then to a particular wavelength. And so when we say you're on my wavelength for good vibrations, or however you want to have it, you're going to feel better when your vibration is high. And you won't have the same interest in any of the lower emotions. And it also teaches you that the one thing where we're always reacting in our life and even causing illness and making ourselves feel depressed or feel worse is because we're reacting to our emotions and we swim in them. Whereas if you're feeling thankful in your life, even for the things that don't feel so good, because it's all going to get better. If you can be thankful, you're not reacting. You've got your emotions under control. And it's not that you're not feeling anything, but you are in control. And that's a whole different game. So you have your ways, if you're depressed, you have your ways of getting out of that. And you learn as well how to make it in a second, if you like. You can have a disappointment, and some people take a couple of weeks to get over it. There are big life events, and I'm not talking about those, but I'm talking about the daily happenings where we allow ourselves to be dragged down. And you have it in your power in an instant to change that. And this is just life-changing information if you put it into practice. And the first way to put it into practice is to make gratitude a habit every day of thinking, what am I thankful for? For me, it also began with the realization, because sometimes people are wound up and don't know what in particular to be thankful for, because we take so many things for granted. But say one day the hot water's not working and you happen to be having a shower, then you learn to be thankful for the nice warm water afterwards, or the fact that you can have a shower every day. I was an adult before I could have a shower if I chose every day. And I hadn't missed it. I hadn't known what they were, quite frankly. But that's just an example. There are so many things that we take for granted, or perhaps have amongst our possessions. And it's important to remember that many of our possessions were an unfilled wish in our lives once. And then we possess them and we just take them for granted. Or perhaps a loved one. The danger is that in the effort of every day, that we start taking them for granted and forget to say thank you and forget to appreciate them. And we have been married for almost 52 years. And everybody has their ups and downs. And what helped me in a period where we were having disagreement about something, we were having a big disagreement about something that other people wouldn't find important, but we did. And then I suddenly realized that I needed to find and remember what I really loved about my husband. And so I made a point of finding 3 things every day for which I was truly happy and grateful. And it didn't take long before I really appreciated him again. And everything settled down. And it's just I'm not here to give marital advice, but somebody said many years ago that the magic word in a marriage is together. And I would say that every time. And in every relationship or in everything, to focus on the good and focus on what's working. If your real focus where the health is, your body is healthy in some ways, focus on that and do what you can to make the very best of that. And generally find happiness in everything, because gratitude, for me, I am of the opinion gratitude has the keys to happiness and to an all-round stability, which is going to help health and help opportunity and open opportunity into your lives. And I think I would love to, I don't know how the time is, Laura. Have we got long yet? Or?
Yeah, we are doing good. We've had about 15 minutes.
Well, do you have any questions for me?
Well, I wanted to, while you were talking, I remembered a couple of things. One of the things I think is that in my life, when I share something I'm grateful for, it expands the gratitude to the other person. Maybe they're not grateful for the same thing, but they think of something that they're grateful for. And when my mother was coming to the end of her life, she had a period of kind of declining health. And she had been so healthy that this was really frustrating to her, and it produced a lot of anger, and she was not able to visit people and friends as much. And so she was spending a lot of time alone. And I noticed that she was feeling really frustrated and angry. So I bought 2 books, 2 journals, and I gave her one and I took one and I said, here's what we're going to do. You write what you're grateful for in yours and I'll write in mine. Then the next time I come visit, I'll leave you my book and I'll take your book and we'll turn them around, and start from the back, and you add more and I'll add more, and then we'll keep changing them. And this really changed how she was feeling, because it let her kind of look back in her life for the people and things she was grateful for. And I learned things about her from the stories, like you said, like the stories she wrote down and why this was important and how she was grateful for what had happened. And it gave us a positive thing to think about. We didn't do it every day, because she wasn't always well. And I said, okay, you don't have to do this every day, but I'm going to try, because if I try to do it every day, I'll hit every other day. And now these are some of my treasured things from her.
Yes.
And so now I'm grateful that I had that idea, and I'm grateful that she was willing to participate, and I'm grateful I have the books.
That's a wonderful story. And they're absolutely right. But gratitude does open many, many doors. And that is a very important point, sharing, because gratitude is not only about being thankful for everything in your own life, it's being grateful to give other people so you can pass it on. So that's the other side of it, to share your gratitude, either in helping somebody else to be grateful for their life, or physically helping them with a problem or a difficulty or an item that they need, and giving them a reason to be grateful. And I think that's a very important aspect of it.
And I was thinking, sometimes, like you talked about, things are hard and you get depressed, and it's harder in that situation to think of something to be grateful for.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you were talking about the shower. I mean, I am so glad that I don't have to walk to a creek with a bucket and bring the water back and boil it, which is not that long ago, you know? So, so I share with people, sometimes I'm grateful for the silliest things. But every time winter happens and I turn on my seat warmers in my car, hallelujah, I am grateful for those things.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
And I sometimes, I do sometimes write my things I'm grateful for on little pieces of paper and drop them in a jar.
Ah,
So that if I have a day where I'm just like, because some days you feel like that, and I can't think of anything, I just reach in and pull something out. And I say, oh, I remember when I was grateful for this. And again, it just shifts your mood, even a tiny bit. And when you were talking about swimming in emotions, I was thinking, what if we swam in gratitude every day?
yeah,
How
exactly.
how would that change what was going on in our daily life and how we interacted with other people? Because if I'm driving and I'm swimming in my normal road rage, instead of being grateful for a clear road, a good car, nice tires, oh, oh, so I can slow down and that idiot driver can go ahead of me. And I
Yeah,
shift instead of saying, well, I'm just not going to let that guy pass me. I mean, I just change how I respond.
yeah,
And it is so simple, but it's practically magical.
yeah, it is magical. Laura, you've made me remember something else as well, that when you're practicing gratitude, you're actually in the now. And so many of us are in the past or in the future, what we're going to do or what we did. But it's so easy not to be in the now. And I think the other aspect of having gratitude and being grateful makes you look with clear eyes at what's around you right now and notice it, because that's one of the things, to notice it. And then we have to be in the now, and we're always in the moment. The past doesn't matter anymore. The future's coming, and it's always now. And I think that's the most wonderful concept. And a further one is that we don't have to stop at what is actually happening now. We can use our vision for the future. We can imagine the future, and we can thank for the future already, because then we're living with our future now. When we're imagining it and living in a vision, we're going to have every chance to make that happen. We've raised our vibration again to a different level. And I find that just an incredible idea. But it's something that I think I've always been lucky enough to be aware of, because I've always been a daydreamer. And at school, my school reports used to always have on them, Cecilia dreams too much. And I used to leave the classroom mentally and have to be brought back to it with a shock. And I know we moved to a house in England when our children were very young, and it was dilapidated, and we were modernising it. And so I was living on a building site, basically, and everything was not as you would want it. But I used to look at those walls, and they were dirty and needed everything. And I used to only see them finished. And then they were finished, but I used to just imagine it all the time as it was going to be. And I think that's an enormous aspect of it, but not imagining it with total disappointment if that's not going to work out. Just imagine it and trust it will be, and be thankful. And the time is then happy rather than full of strife.
Well, and one thing you said that also resonated with me is what you think about, what you put your energy into, is what grows. And so I think especially at this time, if we think about all that can go wrong, then we're putting our energy in what can go wrong. And if we think about what is going right and what can go right, the odds of things going better, you increase the odds of things going better. And it's one of the things I say often is ease anywhere is ease everywhere. And when I'm easy in myself, I feel happy. And when I think of something that makes me grateful, it makes me feel happy. And it's that same kind of light, buoyant energy. And I'm so glad that you were here to share some of your experience with gratitude and how things change when we think of that way. If people wanted to start a gratitude practice, you did say something about every night before going to sleep, thinking about the things you're grateful for, which I think is very good, especially if you had a busy or jumbled day. Then you don't take that jumbledness into your sleep, but instead
Yes.
you take this kind of grateful, happy energy into your sleeping. And I would imagine it allows you to sleep more deeply and more restfully.
Exactly.
But are there other things that you suggest?
Well, definitely to journal and write it down, because it's surprising what that releases and what you think of that you may not have thought of, and the insights that you can gain. And you're not going to get the same level of insights, I feel, if you're not writing it down. And to begin, you can just make lists to begin and become aware of what is good in your life. And there's nothing wrong with lists. But after a time, it's nice to make it fuller and gain more from it in that way. But everything else fits in with gratitude. I mean, if you're grateful, then you're grateful for your body, no matter what it seems like, whether it's a body that you would prefer to be able to improve or not. It's wonderful. It's your body and it's still working. You're still here. And it's something to be grateful for. And then everything can be improved. So I've been concerned for the last 26 years with helping people, inspiring people to a healthy lifestyle. And so we're talking about regular habits, which belong to gratitude too, because then you're taking care of yourself. In fact, it boils down really to loving yourself. And we don't give ourselves enough love and care. And if we don't care for ourselves and don't love ourselves, we're not so capable at all of loving and caring for other people, because we have to have this energy. And it's something has just come to my mind that I haven't thought of for many years. My mother cared for my father, who was very ill. And I used to be amazed at how she just came in full of energy with his breakfast and gave him energy just because she was so basically energetic about it and pretending that she was on a TV show bringing him something extra special and he was the guest. And there were all these little things that she made his day rich. And that's the other aspect. Gratitude shows us our own abundance and our own richness. And once you start participating in that, then you become more resilient to everything. You worry less. You see the good in everything, see the good in other people, and your life becomes much improved.
I love that. Well, thank you so much for sharing a little bit of gratitude this day with us. And there will be links for you to connect with Cecilia. She does have a lovely group where she posts every day some inspiring thought about gratitude. And I would encourage you to connect with her. And this video will be available for people to share if you wish. Because, like we said, gratitude shared is gratitude magnified. And so, Cecilia, it's so great to see you in person, and I'm so grateful that you had time to share today.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you very much. And thank you to everyone who's listened to the end.
We had fun. So take care, everybody. The healing path will be here. Step on it when you're ready, and we will joyfully greet you. Okay, and I'm going to